So for the Lions to get good quickly, they can't pay $30 million to a quarterback in Jared Goff. They just can't.
You got to take a quarterback this draft.
Absolutely.
You have to.
And that's why I think...
So when are you going to take him?
It seems like everybody's got the Lions taking a quarterback at 32 now. A lot of the guys have Desmond Ridder in there, and it's kind of like a Kayvon Thibodeau at 2, Desmond Ridder at 32 situation. Well, this Jordan Reed mock draft says Malik Willis at 2, Nakobe Dean at 32. So I ask you guys, would you rather Willis and Nakobe Dean, scenario A, or scenario B, Thibodeau and Ridder? What say you? Corey, you're first up.
Well, I got to add this caveat in there. Even though I am for Willis, I still believe that an edge rusher is the biggest need for the Lions. So if they have their heart set on we need to make getting an edge rusher a priority, as long as they're going to take Kayvon Thibodeau at number 2, that's what I'm fine with. And then I'll be cool with Desmond Ridder at number 32. If they actually are able to pull up that scenario, if they're going to talk about we're going to go ahead and get an edge rusher and they're going to go in on Aiden Hutchinson, then I'm out. So that's where I'm at with it. So I would in that scenario, as long as the edge rusher is the focus of where they want to go in this draft, Thibodeau, then Ridder at 32, I believe that they're going to be getting a lot of value for the buck.
Listen, man, I'm totally for defense. As last year, you know who I wanted. I wanted the defensive guy. I wanted
Micah Parsons.
I wanted Micah Parsons. All right,
I wasn't going to make you say his name again.
I'm not going to make a secret of that. Defense wins. It truly does. But I want to say this about Desmond Ridder. He's moving up the board. All right, so let's put Malik Willis on the side because you all know that I like to see him take the quarterback, and I think he's the guy. But Jesse Palmer today on NFL Network spoke about Desmond Ridder and how he's doing all the right things. We've talked about this kid before, and I know Braylon is not a huge fan of his, and he brings up his numbers. 3,000 yards, not 5,000 yards at Cincinnati. Thought he probably should have done a lot better in some of the schedule that Cincinnati played. But if this kid is starting to show some of these NFL guys that he could play, maybe it ain't so bad to get your defensive guy and then get a quarterback that maybe you could work in, and he might be a Kirk Cousins type guy. I want the Russell Wilson.
What has Kirk Cousins ever won? I know you mentioned Kirk Cousins an awful lot.
Because he's
what has Kirk Cousins ever won that makes you think
he's still in
a lot of money?
He's still in the NFL, bro. He keeps getting paid. So he's doing something right. What I mean by that is you're not getting Dan Marino, but you're getting Kirk Cousins. In those when they say there's no talent at these quarterbacks, these guys have talent.
I'm not saying there's no talent.
No, I didn't say you. I said everybody else. This is a crappy brand. This is don't go to these quarterbacks. Skip. There's gonna be a couple of terrific quarterbacks coming out of this one.
There's a part of me that feels like Desmond Ridder pick at 32. Sure, it's a flyer, but I feel like it's a wasted pick.
Okay.
I just feel like you're wasting a first round pick a little bit. I'd almost rather bypass the quarterback at that position because, again, you have the opportunity to take the best quarterback in the draft. Why would you want to pick the third or fourth best quarterback in the draft?
How do you know he is?
I don't know. And I guess that's where you rely on Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell and Chris Spielman and the like because they're the talent evaluators, not me. They're in that job, not me. I can be wrong. They can't. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
So I just...
Listen. You got to take a quarterback this draft.
Absolutely.
You have to.
And that's why I think...
So when are you going to take him?
I'm taking him at 2 because I'm taking the best quarterback in the draft. Now, I think that's Willis. If you think that's Sam Howell, take him at 2. You know what I mean? And I know he's not. I'm just using an example there. Whether you believe it's Kenny Pickett, whether you believe it's Malik Willis, I think Malik Willis is pulled away from all of these guys and just what we've seen of him and his potential moving forward. But at the same time, you have got to take a quarterback in this draft.
Here's the kicker.
You have to.
I know we have a 26-year-old quarterback now in Jared Goff, former number 1 pick, went to the Super Bowl, lost it, close game, didn't have the greatest game, did have a drop in the end zone, though. Could have been in that game. He got hurt a couple of years ago and fell out of favor with Sean McVay. kind of hitting on Sean McVay's girlfriend at the time, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, poor guy.
Okay, I'm just saying there were some reasons that Sean McVay passed up on Jared Goff. Yeah, we all heard about the small hands, the fumbles.
Shut up.
Maybe this guy can't.
Shut up.
Shut up. Maybe he can't win the big game. And so he went and got Matthew Stafford from us here in Detroit, and they win the Super Bowl. So here we are. We're sitting with a 26-year-old former number 1 overall quarterback in Jared Goff. If you believe in him, if they truly believe in him, and Brad Holmes was there when Goff was there, then you just take your defense and you forget the quarterback. If you believe in Goff.
What if
Now, does the YouTube people believe in Goff? You have a 26-year-old quarterback right now sitting there as your starter. Corey, do you believe Jared Goff is the future here in Detroit?
No. I think he could be, depending on how he plays throughout the rest of his contract. But as I'm saying right now, I would say no. You got to go ahead and bet on your future. I mean, granted, the guy is young. I think if he would have had let's say if the Lions would have won 6 or 7 games last year,
Probably
then I would have been like, okay, you know what, Lions do not need to look at a quarterback. But if they went 3-13-1, they gotta look at getting somebody who's going to be a game changer moving forward. Do you really want to have to pay Jared Goff the type of money you would have to pay to retain him?
And that's really the question. I think that's a really great point, Corey, because for this franchise to win, they almost need to move on from Jared Goff, not pay Jared Goff, right? I mean, Jared Goff is going to make $35 million probably. That's just the way that quarterback salaries are going right now. You don't think the Carolina Panthers would love Jared Goff right now? You don't think the New Orleans Saints would love Jared Goff right now? There's going to be a team next year or 2 years down the line with a 27-year-old, a 28-year-old Jared Goff that their eyes are going to get big and they're going to go pay that guy. So for the Lions to get good quickly, they can't pay $30 million to a quarterback in Jared Goff. They just can't, especially when you have the opportunity this season to draft and develop the quarterback, get a quarterback on a rookie deal, something you haven't had in forever because, let's face it, when Matthew Stafford was the number 1 overall pick, that wasn't a rookie deal. That was like one of the last of the big-time contracts. I think Matthew Stafford was one of the highest-paid players in the NFL at the time when he was the number 1 player in the draft until they changed that rule. Where they slotted picks into a salary. But if the Lions are going to be good over the course of an elongated period of time, they cannot pay Jared Goff $35 million, which he's going to command on the open market at 27, 28 years old.
If he proves himself.
And again, regardless of whether you go Malik Willis at number 2 or Desmond Ridder at number 32, one of those quarterbacks is going to be sitting for a year and developing and honing their skills. So which would you rather have? The one with the higher upside or the one where we know what he is? Because if you're going to go ahead and take Desmond Ridder at number 32, I mean, I'm not going to say he's a bad QB, but if you're going to go in that direction, you might as well just keep Goff.
Got me, man. I want Goff to do well.
Well,
But in the best interest of the Lions, that Goff does well, so they can. If he did well last, like I said, 6 or 7 games, then you're like, okay, you know what? We can invest.
He did do better once he got he got Josh Reynolds in there, which freed up Amon-Ra St. Brown to become a good player. Then all of a sudden now you got more receivers.
I will say this: this is really going to be the real year to see what Jared Goff is made of in Detroit. And here's why I say that. Jared Goff went to his training camp thinking he's going to throw to Rashad Perriman, Tyrell Williams, Quintez Cephas. Throughout that, he lost all 3 of those guys before week 3.
Look, and I want to reiterate, this is not a knock on Goff either. It's simply how you need to win in the National Football League in 2022, 2023, 2024, and beyond. You can't pay your quarterback, who's a non-Hall of Fame quarterback, all that money. It's just not how you win.
The thing is, they have already had to make their mind up. If they're going to draft Malik Willis or Desmond Ridder, then they've made their mind up already.